Today on CityCast Nashville, we're here with executive producer Whitney Pasterek and Nashville Scene columnist Nicole Williams. She's known by many as Startles Easily on the platform formerly known as Twitter, where she posts updates and analysis on what's going on in our local government. If you're not too familiar with how Metro Council works, we're explaining the basics and previewing tonight's meeting, which will focus on the budget as well as a vote of no confidence against Metro Finance's Kevin Crumbo and Metro Legal's Wally Dietz. CityCast Nashville is presented by our exclusive launch sponsor, Tecovas. It's Tuesday, June 18th. I'm your host, Grace Fuse, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Nicole, you are a columnist for the Nashville Scene, but you are also very involved in our local government. Can you just start off by telling us how you see your role with local government and Metro Council?
I really like helping people understand what is going on with their government. So that's why I've used Twitter and tried to infuse some humor into what can be very long and boring proceedings, particularly at the Metro Council, to help people understand what's going on, how they can plug in and share their opinions, and really try to shape the democratic process, because it can be super opaque and very difficult to tap into if you're just coming at it with no background information.
Just to start at the total basics, what is Metro Council and why is it important?
So the Metro Council is Nashville's legislative body. So it's like our Congress.
Wait, does that make Freddie the president in that congressional analogy?
Yeah. Freddie is the president, and our Metro Council is, almost as big as Congress. Basically, it's 40 people, which is wild because we are not a particularly gigantic city, but we do have the third largest city council or, legislative body in the country. So basically, the council, they make the laws of the land, and they serve as sort of a check and balance on the mayor and the power that he has. And one of their biggest functions is approving the budget every year. They have the power of the purse. They also do a lot when it comes to zoning and land use. So if you want to do something different with your property than what's currently allowed, you have to go through the council and get that approved at the council level.
They're also supposed to be our most direct advocates within the city, right? So that if you are having an issue, you should know your council member well enough to be able to contact them and say, hey, can you help me with this? And they should be your voice in that, or at least help guide you through what's going on.
Yes.
How do you find out who your council member is?
Well, you Google Metro Council Nashville, and you can find a link that is contact my council member. And you can type in your address, and it will tell you exactly who your council member is.
Cool. All right, so we're going to have you on hopefully for every Council Tuesday, where we're going to preview the council meeting and figure out what's on the agenda so people can decide if they need to come down and have their voices heard. Just first off, when is the council meeting and where is it? What's the deal?
Yeah, so the council meets as a whole body on the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6:30 at the historic Metro Courthouse at One Public Square.
She's legally obligated to call it that.
Yes.
What should we be watching for at the council meeting tonight?
It's a big meeting, Grace. There's a lot going on. And it's kind of hard sometimes. Legislation ebbs and flows. So some meetings are pretty boring and there's not a lot of important things to be looking out for. But other meetings are just stacked with a lot of legislation that is controversial or will cause a bunch of conversation. So the biggest thing tonight is the budget. The council is going to be considering the budget and either approving their own budget or letting the mayor's budget go into effect by default.
So Nicole, what is a substitute budget?
So the Metro budget year runs from July 1st to June 30th. And you may have heard people talking about how we're in a tight budget year this year. And so I want to explain that a little bit. So the federal government can operate at a deficit. Like they can spend money that they don't have in the bank, and they can take on huge amounts of debt to pay for that. But local and state governments have to have a balanced budget. We can't spend money that we don't have. It's like if you're spending money out of your checking account. If you don't have money, you can't spend the money. So whatever money we bring in, which is our revenue, that's the limit of how much money we can spend or our expenditures.
And revenue is what, like tax dollars, property tax?
Yes, most of our revenue comes from property taxes and sales tax. And a few years ago, if you were here, you might remember that we had a massive property tax increase. And since then, we haven't had any property tax increases. Mayor O'Connell is not proposing a property tax increase this year, most likely because he is trying to get his transit referendum passed in November, and that's going to be a sales tax increase. On top of all of that, we have basically exhausted the federal funding that we got during the pandemic. So we're basically stuck at about the same revenue that we had last year. So we can't really increase our expenditures from last year, which means we can't fund new programs. We can't fund more staff for most departments. And Mayor O'Connell is actually asking departments to save 1.4% of their budget just to make sure that we stay at a balanced budget. So that's where we're starting out. The mayor submitted his proposed budget to the council, and the council gets a chance to make changes to that budget. And that's where we get to the substitute budget. Dun, da, da, da. So the council makes changes to the mayor's budget in the form of a substitute budget, which is prepared by the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. And this year, that is Councilmember at Large, Delicia Porterfield.
Yay!
Yay! So that substitute budget has been filed, and we were able to get a look at some of the changes that Councilmember Porterfield is proposing. So she took into account the feedback that she got from residents and the feedback she got from individual council members and their wish lists of items they want to see funded.
Right. And really quick, just to clarify, when you say feedback from residents, that's both people writing in, but also a couple of weeks ago, people went down, hundreds of people were down there, and they had the chance to speak in front of council to say what they needed from this budget.
Exactly. There are many ways to provide input to your council members, and one of those is the public hearing. And so council members got a pretty good idea of what the public is looking for, at least the members of the public who are actively engaged in this process.
Mm-hmm. We can do a whole other episode on that.
Yeah. I've got thoughts.
I mean, the goal here is to demystify this, which again, just to reiterate for everybody, you can just go down there and show up.
You really can. You really can. And I'm there most meetings. And so if you have questions, please come up to me. I know this is an audio medium, but I sit over in the corner in one of the pews, and I've always got my little computer out. I'm pretty much the only one with a computer out. So come up to me, ask me questions. I'm happy to answer them.
And hopefully if there's anybody else with a computer, they're also friendly.
Yes.
I hear there's something about tasers, and there's money being given to tasers. What is up with that, Nicole?
Great question. So back in 2022, the police got funding for new tasers, and they got to outfit... New tasers. They got to outfit all of their officers with the latest model, which was, at that time, the Taser 7. But then, surprise...
Wait. Is Taser like a brand name like Kleenex?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Like copyrighted or whatever trademark.
I thought that it was just the concept of Taser. Maybe there were brands of Tasers, but Taser 7.
Yes.
All right. Got it.
Yes.
Sorry. Keep going.
It's very iPhone, and it gets even more iPhone.
It's like getting the Kleenex 7.
Yes. Yes.
Kleenex
So then,
7. Yeah.
surprise, the vendor released Taser 10. Dun, 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 dun.
Wait, what happened to 8 and 9?
There was no 8 and 9, and I don't know why.
There was, but it didn't get past product testing.
So in December of last year, the police came to the council asking for even more money for the new tasers.
For the Taser 10s.
The Taser 10s, yes.
Right.
But
and they wanted $18 million for that?
Yes, they wanted to increase from $6.5 million to about $25 million.
Wow.
I don't know the math.
It's a lot of taser money.
That's a lot of money. And the council shut them down. Basically, they felt like they were being pressured to make a decision too quickly, like the vendor was doing a really hard sell, and police had literally just gotten new tasers the year before. So now they're back asking for Taser 10s again. And the council is going to be considering that tonight, but the police have reframed their ask and decreased the amount that they're asking for. It is a little complicated, but I just want to clarify what they're actually asking for, because I've seen a lot of chatter about how we're giving the police $9.5 million for new tasers.
Yeah, I did some of that chatter. I want that money to feed people. Why can't it?
Yeah, and that is a noble goal, but it's not technically accurate. Like, we're not giving them $9.5 million and saying, you know, go with God, enjoy your tasers. That's just money that's going to come out of their annual taser budget for the next few years, which
Got it.
they have an annual taser budget.
Good for them.
There's also this no confidence resolution against Kevin Crumbo and Wally Dietz. So Metro Finance and Metro Legal. Where is this coming from?
This is coming from Councilmember Joy Stiles, who, and I know we're, not going to get into the whole Metro Arts situation. It is quite a saga and could fill up an hour's worth of time. But she's been really disappointed in the way that the finance director, Kevin Crumbo, and the legal director, Wally Dietz, have handled the situation at Metro Arts. So she has filed a resolution to basically say, we don't have confidence in your leadership anymore. Now, it's not going to pass. I would bet my entire life savings on that. And the council can't actually remove them from their positions. Only the mayor could do that. But this would just put them on record expressing their disappointment.
And this is because of the way those two men have handled not just Metro Arts, but also some of this community oversight board stuff, the way they've spoken to council members. Like, can you give kind of a greatest hits here on why Joy might have no confidence in these individuals?
Yes. So the issue with Director Dietz, the legal director, most of it is about Metro Arts, but there's also a part about how he did not file a lawsuit against the state when the state dismantled the Community Oversight Board, which I think you all talked about yesterday with Chair Haddock. So people were super upset about that because he had sued the state for other legislation that they felt were targeting, other pieces of legislation that they felt were targeting Nashville. And then Director Crumbo took control of the finances at Metro Arts, and it remains to be seen whether that was actually necessary. But he basically came in with a pretty heavy hand that Councilmember Stiles and many community members and artists did not appreciate. And he wrapped all that up by a couple weeks ago on the floor of the council dismissing some comments from Councilmember Stiles as, quote, foolishness.
And that's not a good look.
It's not a good look. You just don't do it.
And people were like audibly upset too.
Yes.
This is the other reason why folks should go to council
Yes.
or at least watch it, because you can watch it on YouTube, right?
You can indeed. And yes,
Every once in a while you catch one of these moments.
you do. The council was upset. They were offended. The people, residents watching in the gallery were upset. Everyone was upset. And the vice mayor kept her cool and really redirected folks to stay on topic. And that was great. Shout out to Vice Mayor Angie Henderson. She's incredible.
Nicole, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And everybody keep an eye out for the Metro Council meeting tonight. You can watch on YouTube.
Thanks, y'all.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye!